So I drove home from the, can I have that water? My water is somewhere down there. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Reverend Gary. So, I drove home from the retreat yesterday, and I was driving up the coast, or down the coast, along the coast, on my way here. And it was very much the way I felt when I would leave Asilomar. And for those of you who don't know what that is the summer retreat we used to take every single summer. And Doug and I and our families, we would just get in our cars on a Sunday and drive to Asilomar for 5 hours and spend a whole week there. And we just stopped doing that. They just stopped having the retreats in Asilomar. And it's been sad because I went for, I think, 14 years straight. And this was the first time I felt that way again since the last few years. And I was driving home, and I just had this overwhelming sense of oneness and beauty. And I drove home, but I had to drop some things off. But then when I drove to the theater, where was I? I think I was at Magnolia and Colfax, and I'm at a red light, and I look up, and there's a Remax sign, commercial, one of those billboards, and it says, "Dream with your eyes open." Remax. Obviously, they want you to look at the house before you buy it. So, my logical mind did kick in for a second, but I got it. Dream with your eyes open. And I was like, thank you, universe. Thank you, Remax. Thank you. This is what I just spent an entire week doing. Dreaming with my eyes open. And not dreaming from a sense of like, oh, I would love to. Oh, wouldn't it be nice if? Not that kind of dreaming. Dreaming meaning the reality of what life is when you live in the center of your dream. When you live in the center of your passion. When you live in the center of what you declare is the life for you. Today's talk is called Hide and Seek. Remember hide and seek? How many of you ever played hide and seek? We've all played hide and seek, right? So you close your eyes, and everything hides, everybody hides, and then you open your eyes and you try to find them. When I was a child, I absolutely detested this game. I hated it. I did not like the idea that I could, A, close my eyes on you to begin with, and then you would disappear, and I would have to find you. It was just so annoying for a child of 6 or 7 who was already a control freak and needed to know where you were before I walked, right? So I'm going back listening to this in my head, and I'm going, oh, wow, I get it. Hide and seek. Oh, I'm still carrying my rock from the retreat. So I remember as a child that one day when I was playing hide and seek, because they forced me, they just forced me, peer pressure, all that stuff, forced me. You don't mind hiding and watching us all go crazy, so you got to do it. And I remember I let them all hide, and then I just sat. I was like your worst nightmare as a friend growing up. I just sat until finally, one by one, they're like, are you going to come find us? No. And then it was like they all gave up finally, and they were like, all right, someone else do it. So today, because I'm such an evolved friend now, I just say, no, I don't play that game. How funny is that? After your talk. No, I don't play that game. So now I've got to rethink this whole talk. I'm going to have to play hide and seek now. I know. Honey, we'll do that later. So, you can hide and I'll come find you. As an adult, it sounds like a more fun game. Oh my God, am I blushing? I'm totally blushing. Woo! Okay. Phew, that's my declaration for the rest of this day. Okay. So, back to the spiritual side of this talk. Wow.
We just lost the new people.
Or we gained some more. So, yes, if you're here for the first time, I don't normally go off on that tangent. So, I want to talk about spiritual hide and seek. I really do. So, in spiritual hide and seek, we close our eyes, we go inside, and we visualize what we want, and we see our dreams, And then we open them, and then we look out there and see that that's not it. This isn't what I have. And then we go searching for it. Make sense? Spiritual hide and seek. How many of you are playing that game still? You don't have to raise your hand, but thank you for being honest. Good for you. I do sometimes, rarely, but sometimes I do. I will play spiritual hide and seek, where I like close my eyes and go in, and then I open it, and I see something, and it's like, that's not what I mean. And then I go looking for it, but it's not even when I close my eyes, that's not where it is. And we teach that sometimes. It's within, it's within. No, it's not within, it's within and without, and Remax has it perfectly correct. Leave your eyes open while you're dreaming, because God is everywhere. The dream is everywhere. It's right there in front of you. It's in the middle of a conflict that you're having with someone. God is there. It's there. It is in any situation that you're having that you may not like. It is in a disease. God is in the cancer. I say that all the time. God is right there. The dream is there. I don't have to hide, close my eyes, find it in here, and then come out here and try to see if I can make this look like that. I am in the process of understanding this is what it is. Right here. This is God. This is my dream. I'm here, so this is my dream. I'm here in this American game of monograms where everybody's coming up with Robert Redford, Roger Rees, Roger Rabbit. Give me one. Roy Rogers. We didn't do that one. That was good. Roy Rogers, right? We're right in the middle of this game. We can get caught up in the, I'm not who I'm supposed to be here. But no, my God, it was perfect. When she could have made up Dutch names all night and won every round. And we would have just went, wow, that sounds like a fun person. Who's next?
Honey, you make up names every time we play it. So
I know you think that, but if you Google it, they are people. So.
I'm just saying, okay?
Oh my. Don't you have something to do back there? So, spiritual hide and seek. I really want to I want us to think about that today. We can keep our eyes wide open. This is the year of being wide awake. I can keep my eyes open and still see what I need to see. And I did that all weekend. I didn't close my eyes hardly ever when we were meditating or whatever. I just kept my eyes open. So we went to this place called La Casa de Maria, the House of Mary. And it is the most beautiful campground. Campground just doesn't do it justice. It's the most beautiful nature resort. Our rooms were beautiful. The food, organic food grown on their grounds, the food was amazing. And the trees and the labyrinth and the tree of life, which was this huge, like 200-year-old eucalyptus tree, and 2 chapels, and it was just so fire pits and peace gardens. It was just so amazing, so amazing. When Nancy and Mary brought me out there, because I wasn't like gung-ho, oh yeah, let's all go do a retreat. But Nancy, Reverend Nancy, who really, when she declares, everyone listens. She says it, and me, I'm one of those. She is such a mentor to me. When she says something, I pay attention. I have a thing on my wall that says, God is speaking no matter who's talking. And sometimes it's hard to live up to that, but when Nancy speaks, it's very easy to live up to that. So she speaks, and she said to me, we need to go see this retreat center. Now, I don't have a lot of time in my day to drive up to whatever, and I did. She said, you have to see it. So I did. So I went up. And while I was up there, I was standing under a tree, and Mary and her were saying, what do you think the theme should be? And it's like the tree's roots came up through me, and I said, bring me your heart. I will hold it for you. And we all went, oh, we cried. And that was it. Bring me your heart. I will hold it for you. And so what we did is we went there and allowed this community and this place to hold our hearts. And it's amazing what happens when we allow the universe to hold our hearts, because we very often play hide and seek with our hearts. We pretend that we don't know who we are, and we push our hearts somewhere deep inside, and then we deal with everything in front of us, as opposed to allowing that bigger thing in us to hold us through it all. through it all. How many of you, I know you know, most of you know this science, and we know that when we just fall back into the arms of grace and allow that thing in us, love, to really take us through life, except in this moment. How many of you have those moments where it's like, no, this one I better handle. This is not a moment for God to handle. This is mine. I got this one. And as soon as I say I got this one, something in me says, have at it. And almost feels like it steps away. It doesn't ever step away. It's still with me, but I've stepped away from my conscious understanding of it, and then I step into taking care of it. I know I'm probably the only one in this room that does that. This side? So, we create things to hide behind. We create experiences that make us hide behind that experience. Well, this happened, so I must behave this way. This person treated me this way, so here's how I react. This is what happened when I did this, and so this is how I behave from now on. All of those things need to go. We need to stop playing hide and seek with our hearts. And we need to stop playing spiritual hide and seek. We need to declare it. So, on this weekend, we had 2 evening rituals. One was a fire pit. The second one was a declaration altar. And it was this beautiful, beautiful altar right underneath this 200-year-old eucalyptus tree. And when we went to our dinner, everybody was asked to please find something in the campgrounds, on the grounds, that you can bring to the altar. Now, I didn't tell them why they were doing this. I just said, find an artifact, something that speaks to you, and bring it to the altar. So I took my walk, and as I'm walking, this beautiful leaf just like cascaded down, and it was this unbelievable color. I think, did you take that, Esther? You have it, right? No, who took it? Nada took it, okay. And it was this beautiful purple and orange, and it just floated by, and I went, well, thank you. This will be the easiest. And I picked it up, and I took it, and then I found something else as well. And so everyone came out, and what I asked them to do was take their artifact, bring it to the altar, and lay down whatever they needed to be done with. Judgment, anger, resentment, a smaller version of themselves, what you just sang about, a hiding personality, whatever it was, whatever they needed to get rid of, whatever was hiding their heart, whatever was hiding their soul, that needed to go, be laid down on this table, and that artifact represented it. One of the things, and then at the end of that, I asked them when the night was over, I said, now you get to go up to the altar and take something. Having transformed it all, don't take the same thing you brought. And pick an artifact that's speaking to you. And let that have transformed you. And it was just amazing. And in between the bringing and taking, the giving and receiving, every person got up to that altar, and it was really pitch black. It was dark. But I have a great camera that catches these pictures with flash. And Suzanne Benoit held a flashlight on all of us. And we got up, and every single person got up and declared what they wanted their life to be, what their life is now, having released what they released. And then at the end of the night, I said, please take an artifact to represent. So we all got up and looked at it, and I just have to say that Karen Frost, are you here? Ronnie Frost, are you here? Where are you, Ronnie? Mm-hmm. So Ronnie gets up, and she holds up this, and I'm thinking, we're all going to see these beautiful artifacts from all over the grounds, and it really was a beautiful array, and I will put that picture on Facebook soon. Ronnie gets up, and she holds up this little orange pumpkin eraser. Seriously, little pumpkin, like this big. And she says, I picked this up, I found it on the ground, and it just looked so out of place, like it didn't belong on these grounds. And so I decided to bring this here, and she places it on the altar. So it's this altar with all these beautiful natural things and this little eraser, which is what I took at the end. And I took it right away because I decided, and I've already used it once, not as an eraser, as an eraser. I took it because I really want to erase from my consciousness anything that holds my heart hostage. Anything. And I had something come up this morning as I was working on this talk that went through my mind, and I literally closed my computer because that's where I've put the eraser right behind it so I could look at that eraser. And I went, you're erased. So thank you for that little tiny eraser that you went and found. Erase it, remove it, clear the way. Reverend Stephen Rambo, who is Johanna's soul brother right now, he's a minister at Founders Church. He said this during the weekend. He said, the heart is like a parachute. It works best when it opens. Isn't that great? How many of us jump out of planes and the parachute doesn't open? Well, mentally, consciously, spiritually, where we jump, but our heart is covered, and it's not working. It's been damaged. It no longer works the way it was meant to work because we've put too much judgment on top of it. We've put too much anger or fear or doubt or uncertainty on top of it. It's not just about, this month is not just about declaring what is mine to have. It's also declaring what is mine to lose, to be done with. I declare I am done with judgment. And that was one of mine, judgment. And Reverend Nancy brought something up, and when she said it and when she shared it, it was my share. And when she shared what she was done with and what she was done with, I was like, that's me. It's absolutely me. And I was done with it. And it's amazing how much of it I was able to find in myself. So I'm going to ask you today, really take some time this week and ask yourself, what do I need to be done with? What can I declare gone? What can I declare erased? What can I declare literally no longer usable in my life? Because, as the song said, I can't keep hiding. None of us can afford to keep hiding our hearts. I'm going to be stronger. I'm going to be better made. I'm going to give everything just to bring me back again. Me. The me that drove home from Montecito. In our last session yesterday, I literally asked, I said, the thing is, how reconciling this with that, where we're going to. Reconciling what we all feel here, love and unconditional love and no judgment, and it's just such a beautiful sense. And taking that back into our lives. And it's not that we can't, it's that sometimes we don't, or we won't, or we're afraid we don't know how. Or this just seems more real than this. That was just the 3-day retreat. This is life. How many of you think that way sometimes? This is life. You can't exactly do all that beautiful love heart stuff in this. Yeah, you can. You can and you must. And that doesn't mean you won't have some conversations that are tough or terse or that you won't get angry. Anybody here ever get angry? You may get angry. I get angry. I do. I always work through it though. And I make sure the person that I'm having an angry moment with feels loved by the time I leave. So, there was a moment in the song and it says, I'm going to wrap my fingers around the stars tonight. There was a moment after we played Monograms where I walked out and looked up and it was the most beautiful evening of stars. They were just everywhere. And those stars were like a map. And I just followed them and I looked at them, and when I finally finished looking at them, I was facing the chapel, the big chapel. I like to call it the Jesus Chapel, because this was a Catholic retreat center. So the chapel, the big chapel, has when you open the door, you are literally impressed with an enormous crucifix with Jesus hanging off it, really painfully displaying his upsetment. And I remember when I first opened it, I went, oh no, this is not my idea of a fun time. And however, there are no accidents. So of course I put in to be in the other chapel, which is a multi-religious chapel. It has pictures of all religions on it. I was like, perfect for us. And somehow, but there are no accidents, they gave us the Jesus Chapel. And that was going to be our last morning, our beautiful morning session in the Jesus Chapel. And when they gave us the Jesus Chapel, when I saw our name on it, I was just, because I even said to I just said, we're in the Jesus Chapel. She goes, no, we're in the other chapel. I said, no, we're in the Jesus Chapel. I said, so, you know what, there are no accidents, we need to be in the, and of course Nancy's like, it's perfect. I was like, and so it is. And so I'm looking under the stars, and there's the Jesus Chapel, and I know that you guys saw me walk. I guess you were sitting somewhere close by. But I walked by and I walked into the Jesus Chapel. And I swear to God, this Jesus piece of structure up there actually seemed like it was smiling when I walked in. It was like this whole thing just kind of up and went, mm-hmm. Which was a little scary. It was late at night and it was dark. And I just, all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, this is like when I was in Catholic school. And of course, you know, not only is the statue there, but all the Stations of the Cross. So the entire scourging and everything is surrounding this chapel. And then I saw a piano. I thought, oh, I'll just sit down and play the piano. And I did, and I sat down and I started to play the piano. And then, out of nowhere, this entire little song came through me. Bring me your heart, I will hold it for you. And it was one of those composing moments in my life where I didn't sit down to write a song. The piano called me to sit down to give me a song. And I wrote it. And as I finished it, I looked up and I just thought, I am singing for Jesus. I'm singing for Jesus. It's just like I used to do all the time in Catholic school. And I literally came full circle. And I had such an opening. And I realized I got to lay down my Catholicism, the Catholicism in me that I still judge and that still doesn't work for me. I need to lay that down. I need to be done with that. And I had this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful moment. So I go home, I go to bed, and in my dreams, I dream that I'm playing this song the next morning. And I dreamt it. I just dreamt that I'm playing it. And in the dream, I'm playing that I'm dreaming that I'm playing it. And in the dream, I'm saying, you don't know this well enough, don't do it. You know how you do things, but your mind's saying, this might not be a good idea? So I got up the next morning and I walked over and I was the first one in there and I sat down and I just started to play it, just to remind myself, and Marilyn Taylor walked in and she said, oh, that's beautiful. And instantly I went, I got to sing this. And so I did. I sang it during our service. And it was, and I had kind of had no voice because I'd been talking all weekend. And this is what I mean about bring me your heart and I will hold it for you. I didn't sing it. Jesus sang it. I really felt that way. Not Jesus the man, Jesus the consciousness that he brought to this earth. The consciousness that said, love everyone as you love yourself. Which doesn't mean that if you don't love yourself, you don't have to love everyone. It's not that. It's love everyone as you must love yourself. I and the Father are one. We are one. And it is done unto you as you believe. That's pretty much science of mind, as Jesus taught it. So I sang this song, and it was really beautiful. Reverend Steve did and I will sing it here at some point when I rehearse it. Reverend Steve did a poetry session, and in the poetry session, he asked everyone to write one line of poetry and then put all the lines together. And when we read it, it was so astounding that it was difficult to literally breathe after it was over. And I felt compelled to read you this poem today. So I'm going to ask you to take a deep breath. The poem's name, of course, is Bring Me Your Heart, and I Will Hold It For You. Letting myself be known, freedom, sweetness, and joy springs from smiling hearts, filling me with warmth, comforting my soul. Communion, clarity, balance, a holy trinity, wholly so. As I release, my heart and mind is at peace. While holding my heart, the ocean declared, I've washed you clean with the love we've shared. Just lean in. I am filled with love overflowing to be worthy of connecting and receiving. My connection, like the roots of the tall tree, is deep and supportive. The love in your eyes is unending peace. Bring your attention to the intention and receive all the treasures of the universe. My heart cracked wide open. I accept the clouds that linger amongst the sky, reminding me of my infinite side. Find peace in a decision that may disturb others' peace, deep, deep down inside. We are one. Letting go, setting free the things that don't serve, left me owning unwanted adjectives and not reaching my objectives. Aware, alive, ever questing and requesting love, longing, always belonging, living large and loud. You'll see below the rest of this page is blank. No hint of fear, doubt, or where my heart sank. So too am I. For this freedom, I thank. So I do want to tell you that I made a commitment to myself as I left the grounds yesterday that we will throw a retreat yearly, but for the entire congregation. So that we can all come together for 4 days. We'll do it on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we'll do our Sunday service. We'll do it here for those that can't make it, but we will do one there. And I hope that after you hear everything that you hear today, you will be compelled, as I was, to join us and to be there and to let your heart be held. And more than that, I know that what my intention is here today is to give you a springboard to possibly stop playing hide and seek with your heart, to find out what's blocking your ability to live life freely and fully. Declare what that is. And then with this little orange eraser, erase it. Not let it go, not push it aside, not push it back in, not give it away, not walk away from it. Erase it. In order to erase it, you have to make a declaration. Declare it, bear it, and then share it. Declare, bear, and share. That's what I came back with. I know who I am, and I am so clear who I don't want to be. And I am willing to bear my soul to make that happen and to be as transparent as possible. And then what I want to do is share it because I get it. We are one person walking this planet. Every single one of us. Everywhere we go, we are. And that's the truth. Namaste.